I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary. A tariff on tariffs.
This is a direct attack.
Donald Trump, who changes his mind between, breakfast 11's his lunch and supper time.
If I told you that there is a plausible theory, would you believe me? So what is really going on here? Why is Trump slapping tariffs on America's closest allies? Why doesn't he seem to care that it's totally crashing the stock market? Does he actually have a strategy, or is this just pure chaos? To your surprise, yes, there does seem to be a plan. But brace yourself, because this is way bigger than it looks. Scott Bessent is Trump's new Treasury Secretary, and according to him, these tariffs aren't just random punishments.
President Trump's tariff policies have begun the process of reorienting our international economic relations.
They're part of a major realignment of America's global economic relationships. In other words, the chaos, this is just part one. This is the start of something really big, something that could rewrite the rules of global trade, the very rules the US helped to create. A change of this scale has only happened twice before. Once after World War II with the Bretton Woods system, and then again in the 1980s with Reagan. Now fast forward to 2025, and we might be witnessing the dawn of a third global economic era. And guess what? It's all centered around Trump's vision of American power.
I think we should make it very clear that there is a green, a yellow, and a red bucket, and we let everyone know where they are.
This new world order divides countries into three groups: green, yellow, and red. Green countries get perks like low tariffs, US military protection, and special access to the dollar. And then the red countries, they're pretty much on their own. So, is this just a theory? I mean, these are ideas coming straight from Trump's economic team. So let's break it down. Who's behind this plan? First, there's Scott Bessent, a hedge fund billionaire who once helped George Soros take down the Bank of England. And now he's Trump's Treasury Secretary. Then there's Stephen Miron, Trump's top economic advisor, and the guy who stirred things up with his paper named A User's Guide to Restructuring the Global Trading System. The biggest problem that they see is deindustrialization.
Make the United States into a manufacturing powerhouse like it used to be many years ago.
So back in the 1950s, nearly 30% of US economic output came from manufacturing. And now it is down to 10%. And that's not just a number. It's seen as a national security risk.
One of Beijing's state-owned firms built more commercial ships just last year than all of America has produced since the end of World War II.
China now produces more commercial ships in 1 year than the US has built since World War II. And Trump's team? They're quite frankly terrified. For instance, if China invades Taiwan, would America even be ready? So the big question is this: why go after the allies with these tariffs? Why say stuff like our friends have taken more from us than our enemies?
Taking our jobs, taking our wealth, taking a lot of things that they've been taking over the years. They've taken so much out of our country, friend and foe, and frankly, friend has been oftentimes much worse than foe.
It's because Trump and his team believe the global trade system designed by the US now works against America, and it's time for a reset. By the way, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and ring the notification bell. It would honestly help me tremendously. Thank you. Okay, so now let's rewind. For those of you who don't know about the Bretton Woods system, post-World War II, it was a US-led world order that ultimately redefined global economics. Countries agreed to peg their currencies to the US dollar, which was tied to gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. So what this did was it created a system where exchange rates between currencies were stable and predictable. The US also protected its allies militarily, and in return, those allies gave America access to their markets, even at its own expense. The goal of all of this was to build strong, loyal allies in the fight against communism. all while giving the US a dominant role in global trade. But as demand for dollars grew and gold reserves didn't, the system hit a wall. It was called the Tariff dilemma. In 1971, Nixon ended the gold standard and the world economy transitioned to what we now know as neoliberalism.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets.
Reagan brought in a more flexible, market-driven system. Lower tariffs, free-flowing investments, floating exchange rates, and the US security for countries that played along. The system made the dollar even more powerful as the world's reserve currency. Now the downside? A strong dollar made US exports less competitive, driving jobs offshore, especially to China after it joined the WTO in 2001. It also increased inequality back home. In 2016, Americans were feeling the squeeze. Trump rode the wave into office, launching his first trade war with China. But deindustrialization did not stop.
You want to go to third world status, lose your reserve currency. We have to have that. We cannot lose it.
So this right here, this new radical plan kicks in. Step 1, to the tariff chaos. This is where we are right now. These massive tariffs are not just punishment, it's leverage. They want to make it clear that the US is willing to accept short-term pain, even a stock market crash, to reset the rules. Step 2, reciprocal tariffs. Eventually, the goal is to make sure every country plays by the same rules. No more unfair advantages for China or anyone else.
This is what tariffs are designed to address. Leveling the playing field such that the international trading system begins to reward ingenuity, security, rule of law, and stability, not wage suppression, currency manipulation, intellectual property theft, non-tariff barriers, and draconian regulation.
And step 3, the Mar-a-Lago Accord, which is a new global deal that mirrors Bretton Woods, but with a twist. Countries that align with US interests get access to American markets and the dollar system, but they'll have to agree to pay their dues. Protection in exchange for tribute? Although this may sound speculative, it matches what Trump's top advisors have been saying for years.
The international trading system consists of a web of relationships, military, economic, political. One cannot take a single aspect in isolation. This is how President Trump sees the world, not as a zero-sum game, but as interlinkages that can be reordered to advance the interest of the American people.
As Scott Bessent put it, you can't separate the economic from the military and political. It's all one system. And that's how Trump sees the world. So the chaos, it's not just chaos. It's a very bold, some would say very dangerous, attempt to change up the world order and rebuild it in Trump's image. Now, will it work? I guess we're all about to find out. Okay, folks, that's all on this one. Please make sure you subscribe for more, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching.